So I'll tell you where this came from. It came from that Larry Krueger guy. Larry said yesterday when Luis Matos got called up and Shasky jumped in and seemed to agree with him. And I don't think our points are necessarily far off, but I wonder what you think about this. Because the Giants end up having another great game. They come back, dramatic fashion. They win. They sweep St. Louis. And I don't know if you know this, y'all, but the San Francisco Giants are 36-32. And they just happen to currently be in a playoff spot. In fact, they are 2 games clear of a playoff spot.
Man.
Yet Larry put out an opinion that when Matos got called up, he goes, well, that brings an end to the tired argument of, boy, there's no spot for him, and you're not going to bring him up if he's not going to play every day. Just get him up here and make the rest of this season about developing the young core. And Shasky goes, thumbs up to you, Larry Krueger. I agree. I agree with you. And my point would be, I'm confused why we can't have both. And I'm furthermore confused why you would say that at the high point of the season, the first time they've been to 4 games over 500, the first time they've been 2 games clear of the rest of the field in terms of a playoff spot. I am tired of the defeatist attitude of the Padres and Mets are going to catch up, so why are we even trying? What on earth are we doing? What on earth are we doing? This is the Bay Area, California, and a Giants team that we're demanding is in the top 10 in payroll all the time. Why? Because we don't rebuild, we retool. That's supposedly what this market is all about. And I'm hearing people who want to give up on the season in the middle of being in a playoff spot because it should only be about the young guys. First of all, they're playing well enough to where you can do both. But I am offended none that Luis Matos got pinch hit for by Michael Conforto in a situation where Conforto is much more likely to hit a 2-run homer than Matos.
And he did?
And that's what they needed. No, it's not what happened. It's not what happened. But it's not only about the immediate results game.
But it was a righty pinch hitting for a righty, right?
No, it was a lefty pinch hitting for a righty.
That's fine, because that's what Gabe does.
And a right-handed fireball.
Of course, that makes perfect sense.
Matos is not going to be a platoon guy. He's going to be your everyday left fielder for the next 2 months, if not the rest of his life.
But in high-leverage spots, you might see this happen again.
You might.
I don't understand the notion of bringing up young players who you are high on and then immediately thinking, well, this season's over, we can't win. If you think that Kyle Harrison is any good, if you think that Luis Matos is good, and Schmidt and Bailey and all the rest of it, then you bring them up thinking that they're going to do well. And if players do well in an individual sport like baseball, then you as a team would also do well. That is a part of it I don't really understand in terms of the Larry argument and if Joe was agreeing with him and the like, because if you bring up players that you expect to do well, you're not bringing up Luis Matos thinking, well, you know, we're going to give him 300 at-bats, but geez, we don't expect him to hit higher than 200. We don't expect him to really do anything, but we want to give him experience. If that is your mindset, then he's not worthy of being brought up. So if you bring up a young player and expect him to do well, wouldn't him playing well do a lot for your team than winning games? So I don't see how those two things are ever at cross purposes when you bring up a young player who you think might do well. And by the way, Luis Matos has been playing pretty well in AAA.
I mean, and by the way, look, I'm not going to get too excited about one game, but if this is your first opportunity to see him play, do you see how fluid, how easy everything looks? I mean, he walked right up. The second pitch that he saw, the first major league swing he took, whack, right into left field for a base hit. A couple minutes later, he's scoring a run. And then even in his second at bat, whack, line drive right up the middle, just happened to be right at the second baseman. It's only one day. It's only one day.
Second youngest player in baseball.
He's 21 years old.
Among position players.
You should be so excited about this. I am not excited about this. I like sometimes the world gives you what you're looking for. I hate that this happened with a Haniger injury, but we were 24 hours removed from people joking that the Giants were going to come up with a mystery injury for Haniger to get this guy up. Then a not-so-mysterious injury and a serious one actually happened.
Yeah.
And so you've been asking for Matos. Here you go. You get Matos. My issue is with the concept The season is not about, just get some Lowry season salt and put it on Matos and Schmidt and Bailey. Make sure they're growing. Make sure you water them at the end of every game. Yeah, they can be up, and I hope they play well. But this all has to be tucked into, trying to win. I am so sick and tired of the word fluke. My gosh, I'm going to throw trash on anybody's lawn.
Do it.
Who brings up the word fluke. The Giants organization.
I'll give you my address because I've used that word. I already know where you live. Actually, you've been there. Yeah,
I've been there.
And I
know where you live,
I got a lot of yard, too, so you can throw a lot of trash.
You do.
My front yard is massive, way too big.
Yeah,
you can trash it up, and I probably wouldn't even know.
That's a good point.
I actually found an Ensure bottle that was completely intact from 12 years ago, buried in my ivy that I was pulling out.
How'd you know it was from 12 years ago?
Because you check the date, and it's like expires in 2008.
You touched it?
I got gloves on. You had to do it. I had to do it.
Yeah, I just, if there's any fan base in the world that needs not be told, hey, you don't need to be the best team on paper to have something cool happen, it's the Giants.
And I think Adnan Verk told us yesterday about the National League that it's very wide open in terms of there's two really good teams. We've talked about this, and beyond that, beyond Atlanta and the Dodgers, you've got a bunch of question marks. So can the Giants stagger their way into 85 and 77 and be a playoff team? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Can they do it with Harrison and Matos and Bailey and Schmidt? Probably as likely as if they didn't have those players.
No, I want them up too.
Yeah.
Let me read what Larry said, just so that we're not paraphrasing
Larry
here.
in tomorrow and Friday. You can get into it. This is a warm-up for Mark.
Quote.
Coming at Larry.
Well, we already had this argument. He wanted to bring up the kids on day one.
Yeah.
Because who cares about this season? Well, I'm here to tell you, me. That's who.
Exactly.
What on earth are we doing? They're 36 and 32 after a terrible start. They actually look like they could be, ready? Good. I don't want to be told that 2 years ago was a fluke and 10 years ago was 10 years ago. And do you really think they're going to compete with the Padres? I don't know because, right now they're 3 games ahead of the Padres. And right now they're 4.5 games ahead of the Mets. And the season didn't start yesterday. So as a fan, I'd like to see them make the playoffs. Now, I actually think you can have both. Let's have these young kids be a part of this whole thing. Bailey looks like a real deal. Schmidt's starting to struggle at the plate. I think it was predictable, but you can navigate that. You can have him up and yes, season him. And now Matos is going to get at least 2 months as the starting left fielder for the Giants, and I hope Harrison is up soon too. Keaton Wynn got his major league debut last night. All is good. But if you are of the mindset of, let's just watch young guys get watered and grow because who cares? We're not really going to win this year anyway. I don't know. I don't even understand your fandom. I don't even get it.
Right. It's like you're waiting for the year when everybody is all up and ready to go. Now I'm all in on them being a playoff team. Well, what you've learned as a Giants fan, 2010, 12, and 14, I think you said this earlier this week or last week, they were never the best team in those years. So you get in the playoffs, especially now more than ever, you get in the playoffs and you never know what might be able to happen. The Giants could have enough top-end rotational depth if Harrison eventually comes up and continues to pitch as electric as he has. You've got 3 good starters who can win you a series, maybe 2 series, and you win another series, and then you get to the World Series, and who knows what might happen.
Yeah, who knows is probably what the Giants' motto should have been back in 10, 12, and 14. And 2 years ago, for that matter. Who knows? Who knows where this is going to go? It's baseball. I'm not here for Fangraphs told me this isn't going to work out, so let's give up in June. It's wild.
I'm sure their Fangraphs is up, because it changes every day.
Let's see. Fangraphs, NL playoff odds. I got it right here. I bookmark it, Dibs. So the Giants.
Probably north of 50 now.
The Giants at 36 and 32. Their playoff odds are at 55%.
Wow. Up from 47, I think, from yesterday or the day before.
3.6% chance to win the World Series.
Big.
So I'm going to go ahead and root for that. You guys can all do whatever you want. I'm going to root for that.